Hi, I'm Sabine, the Purpose Lawyer. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. It really goes a long way. It helps us spread the good word. And if you or anybody you know is in the market for legacy or estate planning or business or trademarks, please reach out to our firm. It's the Ambitious Legacy Firm. We are licensed in New York and New Jersey, but we have service partners in all states. So we'd love to work with you. Asset protection, legacy planning, trademarks, we got you. All right. So it's the ambitiouslegacyfirm.com. Now let's get into the episode.
All right. So I hope you guys are enjoying this because this was not meant to be a game. We're not coming here to pump you up, but really just to give you guys, just downloadable information that the lives that we're living is bigger than just the things, right? The finances help us and we want it and we have to go after it. But there are things we need to do, put in place, steps we need to take, and then we just need to expand our minds, number one. So I'm going to get into the next panel, or the first panel, I should say, with all my wonderful guests, which will be spotlighting in a moment. We have Mr. Jude Bernard, who is a real estate mogul. I'm just going to say, he probably doesn't want me to say that, but I'm going to say that. We have Shaquanna Brooks, Miss Business, CPA extraordinaire, queen of the tax code. We have Miss Wendy J. Robinson. She's a life coach. She's a realtor. She is a relationship coach. I'm sorry, Wendy is not on this panel. My apologies. Miss Lindsay Smith. She is our life insurance expert. She knows all about life insurance and financial planning, and she's just a wealth of information and very motivational. So thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. And you all look great, by the way.
Oh, do you?
You sure do.
Thank you. Thank you. What were you going to say?
Ladies looking real good out there. Shout out.
Thank you. You do too, Jude.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Jude.
Yes. Okay. So if you guys wouldn't mind letting the people know, just take a minute and let people know who you are and your journey to how you got to where you are. So we'll start with you, Jude.
Ladies first.
It's always ladies first.
Okay.
You're the only guy. We'll let you go first.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. So happy to be here. My name is Jude Bernard. I am a real estate entrepreneur. I wear many hats in the real estate field. I'm a broker, a general contractor, a landlord, a consultant, jack of all trades in the real estate field. I've been doing it for 25 plus years. I've done, I can't even count how many transactions I've done, but it's been a journey. I've had great success with certain projects. I've had great failures, but whether it was a success or failure, I've always come out with a lesson and I've always come out better for it. I try to share as much information as possible to teach people that I am not an anomaly. I did not make this stuff up. I'm basically following a plan that was started, since the beginning of time, about owning land and how to capitalize on it in many different aspects. And that's pretty much it. That's who I am, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Jude. We'll go to Shaquanna next. Oh, you're muted.
I don't know how that happened. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Shaquanna. I go by Miss Business. I am a certified public accountant, CEO of Brooks Alliance, which is my tax and accounting firm. I said Queen of the Tax Code already. I think you did, but Queen of the Tax Code, as well as the creator of the Business Blueprint. As I mentioned, I am a certified public accountant. I pretty much come from the angle of helping business owners, investors, freelancers, contractors just save on taxes, and just have the conversation about taxes, because it's probably one of all of our highest expenses and everyone ignores it. And so I wanted to be the one to start having that conversation, because it is so important. In terms of how I got where I started out corporate, Big Four accounting firm, stayed there for 6.5 years, learned what I needed to learn. And then I started my own tax and accounting company to service who I felt like was the underserved and needed us the most. So that's me. That's how I got to where I was. I started Brooks Alliance 4 years ago. I left corporate 4 years ago, and my company is growing and doing amazing. I now have over 2,500 clients. I feel like now this year I'll probably hit about 3,500. Wow. But last year we had 2,500 clients. Just wrapped tax season, so excited about that. My life now begins. So, yeah, that's who I am. In terms of how I got to where I was, a lot of hard work, dedication, focus, and being able to kind of like block everything out to focus on what my dream is. And like Jermaine said, I wrote it down, I executed, I didn't look right, I didn't look left, I focused on my goals. So that's me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being
here. You're welcome.
All right, Miss Lindsay.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay Smith. I go by Lindsay Smith, the agent, on the social media handles. I am a licensed life insurance agent. I have been in the business now for about 13 years. I'm also a registered rep, which means I have my securities licenses as well. I actually started out in the entertainment business doing marketing years ago, and I went to Howard, and so I was a business major, and I've always been into finance. So I ended up getting into the life insurance business because I really wanted to help individuals like myself when I was in the music business where we were just wasting money. So I wanted to learn more about that. And that's what I did. And so basically for 10 years, I was actually with New York Life. And then I started my own independent agency so that I'm able to now sell all companies. This way, I don't have to stick my clients with just one company, because it doesn't necessarily fit everybody. Now I'm able to service them for all the insurance companies that are on the market and be able to find out people's individual needs for what they need. I also handle long-term care and disability, medical health. I do for business owners. I do the buy-sell agreement, policy fundings, and all of that. So that's pretty much the gist of what I do at this point. And I forgot, I'm sorry, I also mentor agents, right? How can I forget that?
That's right.
I also have a mentorship program where I mentor agents, really just trying to get more people that look like us to be able to be informed so that they can share the knowledge within our community, so that we can also benefit off of having death benefits left to us, and not really just a GoFundMe or left handling, trying to figure out how to take care of our family when loved ones pass away.
Awesome. And also to have more successful agents, right? Because you have the secret to success in your field.
Right. Well, that too.
All right. Thank you all so much for taking the time once again. So I'm just going to get right into the questions. What I'll do is I'll ask the questions, and I'll, just start with one of you, but we'll try to kind of have you guys all chime in on each of the topics. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, what I've seen in doing basically this legacy work is that one of the biggest values that I've seen successful people have is access, right? Access to certain rooms, access to opportunities, and different connections. So I wanted you to share, what have you experienced in building wealth, and even just being positioned in business that you feel like has given you access that like everyday people may not normally see. So I'll start with you, Lindsay, since you were last time.
Okay. So really, I think the different information that I've been exposed to from being in this industry, it's funny because they really try to keep it from our people. In the finance world, it's really heavy as far as white males. Not a lot of us Black and brown people or even minorities in the business that are at a certain success level that you get invited to certain meetings where they're really teaching people how to protect their wealth, how to build wealth, and just the loopholes and things that you can do to be able to really help your finances. And so I think that having that access from being a successful agent, having the access from being in this industry, and being able to be invited to certain events and certain conferences and be in the room with certain people who, you know, are making certain type of money that allows you to be able to have more complex situations that you need to plan for, which teaches you, you know, how to deal with obviously the everyday person that may not make, you know, $100 million in a year, right? But you're still able to take that strategy and show them how they can go from where they are and basically build up, right? So I do think that having the access for the information, period, right? A lot of the information, especially when it comes into loopholes, that information is not general information that's just on the internet for you to just see. And if it is, you really don't know where to look for it or what to look for. So I do think access is important when it comes to finances and just knowing, you know, what it is, the options out there for you.
And I'll go to you, Jude. So just like a little twist to the question, you know, when you get to certain levels of success, you know, you're able to use that to get into rooms and you experience life differently. So like Lindsay, you're saying, you know, you get more information, you now have, you know, more tools in your tool belt. So for you, Jude, like, what are some things that changed for you getting, you know, gaining some level of success? What is that giving you access to, and how would that affect legacy?
Well, I have to say, the higher you get on the totem pole, the more you're interacting with people on your level and higher and so forth, and they extend your reach and so forth like that. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, access is not something that you just get. It's something that you have to invest in, right? I always make a joke that everybody wants Barack Obama the president, but only Michelle was down to hang out with Barry, the community organizer. You know, and Lindsay, you said that you're in the music business. One of the things that in the 90s, I know a lot of people who were on street teams.
Yep, I remember that.
I know a lot of people that were on street teams. I built relationships with people that were on street teams, and I got to know who was who and who had potential. But by the 2000s, some of those people who were on street teams were now heads of labels. And now in the 2020s, some of these people that were on street teams that were once head of labels are now run huge marketing conglomerates, you know. So and it takes the ability to see people's potential and invest in people, and not just in a taking mode, but also giving. So it's that reciprocity that you have to constantly be working on, because you know, it's crazy for me. Like right now, Eric Adams is in office right now, and it's just like I had a relationship with him when he was a councilman. You know, so it would be impossible for me at this stage in my life to build a relationship with the mayor of New York. But based on my investments that I did very early on with a councilman, you know, that's how it is. Just like everything else, you have to take the time out and invest. Just like Jermaine says, you have to have a plan. And you know, these seeds that you plant, not every one of them will grow into an oak tree, but a few of them will. So you have to plant a lot of seeds, and the seeds that you plant, that oak tree or that mango tree or that banana tree, your children will eat from that. So it's not just about yourself. So that's how it plays into the legacy. So the work that you're doing right now for this access, you, you're going to pass that on. You're going to pass that on to your family. You're going to pass that on to your network, and they're going to pass that on to their family. So
Thank you for that.
Trickle down effect.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's your take, Shaquanna, on this?
So I think access is everything. And I think the first thing that everyone needs to do when they are trying to figure out first you have to figure out what access do you want, right? And when I say that, I come from small business. Realistically, everyone's like, you could have just stayed in your dad's restaurant and ran your dad's restaurant for the rest of your life. I could have. However, I wanted more. I wanted to really understand what corporations were doing. How were they putting together? I'm a real estate girl. So even though I'm a CPA, I love real estate. So the reason why I got into accounting is because I really wanted to understand the numbers behind it. Like, how are these deals really happening? And when you're on the accounting side, you really get an understanding of like, where are these numbers coming from? What's happening? So of course, went to college, did everything I needed to do for my CPA, made a decision to go on to Big Four accounting firm, decided to take my CPA, started out in mutual funds department. I'm like, this isn't what I'm here for. I knew exactly why I was in corporate. I switched over to the real estate private equity side, where I spent most of my career in corporate. And that's where I got an opportunity to really understand what was happening behind these real estate deals that they, all these buildings. I'm like, how does somebody afford hundreds of millions of dollars? Like, what exactly is happening? What are these plays? And so being on the accounting side and doing the auditing and focusing on the tax side of things, you really got an understanding to see. And what that did was, again, making the decision that, listen, I want to understand what's happening more on a corporate level. I got an understanding to know that, okay, in real estate private equity, the only thing they're doing is pooling their money together. Once they pool their money together, they take that money and then leverage it for a loan. So they would raise $275 million. And then they would go and take the $275 million that they have and leverage it and take it to the bank and say, okay, well, now we need a line of credit. Now we need some additional financing, because now they had that 275,000. So realistically, everyone was, putting this money up, but before they didn't even touch the money. They were more focused on, all of the financing. And so for me, I think just making the decision to want to know more, to want to be a part of, because a lot of people will look and they'll say, I want to be a part of a different social circle. I want to be a part of a different class or a different level. It really is about deciding what you want to know, who you want to know, and getting into those rooms. And as Jude said, really planting those seeds, because not every seed is going to, again, grow into this tree. But if you I'm a firm believer that if you knock on 10 doors, one is going to open. And you have to show up every single day to say, you know what, I'm going to knock on these doors. I'm going to make these connections. I'm going to go to these events. I'm going to, get up and show up for me. And I think a lot of people, that's where the issue and the disconnect comes from, because they almost feel entitled. Like, oh, I want this, so this has to happen. Like, oh, I want to be rich, so it just has to happen. I want a different social circle. So you're supposed to talk to me. You're supposed to be, my friend, or, and we're supposed to do business together. And I think that's also, if we just talk about it, when people have businesses, they have an idea. They say, you know what, I'm going to start a business. They don't put any marketing behind it. They don't understand what rooms they want to be in, who's their client, nothing. They just release a product and they say, okay, I'm happy about my product. The whole world is going to be happy about it. And that's not true. So just, again, always referencing back to Jermaine, you have to decide, you have to show up, you have to be relentless, you have to go after whatever it is you want. And that takes a lot of planning. So for me, I think access is, a lot. And once you go on your journey and you decide, and I think the decision piece is the most important, because once you decide, listen, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, you start meeting people that's doing what you want to do. you know, and
Mm.
then that's when you really start to have that access, because like I call Lindsay all the time. I could call Jude. I can call you. I'm like, listen, I don't know anything about this. I don't know, you know, something about that. And you guys are able to give me that insight. But had I not made the decision to then go to corporate, to then start my accounting firm, to then say I'm going to be present on social media, I'm going to go and speak at Matt's event, I would have never met you and Lindsay, you know? And so it's a matter of being able to show up and make that decision. And then once you make that decision, everything is going to start falling in place. And I feel like that's legacy, again, making that decision on what it is that you want in the future. So
thank you so much. Thank you.
Shaquanna, I just want to jump in and kind of like reiterate what you just said about not knowing what you don't know, but wanting to know more. And that desire, you have to have that fuel inside of you, and you have to be humble and say, you know what, I don't even know what I don't know.
Right.
That's golden.
Right.
You know, and you have to get that humility has to be inside of you where you could attest to, I don't know what I don't know, but I need to put myself in the circle where I could at least find out what I need to know. Yeah.
First, you need to find out the questions.
Exactly.
All right, awesome.
Everybody wants the answers, but don't even know the questions.
That's the truth.
Very true.
Okay, so there's a quote that that I thought of, and wow, I can't remember. So I'll ask the question first, and I'll come back to the quote. So it's, what's the biggest lesson you've learned or myth that you have uncovered about money? So either making it, experiencing it. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned? Does anybody want to go first? Or all right. Okay, Jude, thank you.
That money's not even real, you know, in the sense that I remember in 2006 losing all the money in the world, which was like $3 million. I lost $3 million. Oh my God, my life is over. All right. And, you know, twice this year, and we only in April, I've turned down deals where I would made an upside of $3 million because I didn't like the terms, I didn't like the people and stuff like that. So it's just like, money is just a number. You know, the biggest myth is everybody thinks that there's a number that's going to make them happy. There's a number there's a number that's going to give them access. There's a number. No, you know, it's like there is no, like, the money doesn't matter. You know, like it's funny because Jermaine had mentioned about the Mansamari, and I remember I remember going to see the Maasai tribe while I was in Kenya, right? And you know, these guys live in huts and stuff like that, and they laugh and they joke and they pick, you know, they pick up cow feces and throw it at each other. just silliness, right? And these are the guys that jump up straight up and down, right? And these guys are so happy. And they live such a beautiful life and camaraderie and stuff like that. And they live in huts, you know, and it's not the money. So once I realized that the money is not the goal is to be happy, I was able to move a little bit more freely. I was able to find like the things that I'm passionate about and make moves for happiness as opposed to a dollar, you know, like a dollar amount. You know, like I'm not, like, there's not a dollar amount that's currently that's going to make me do a deal with somebody I don't like. You know, there's not a dollar amount that's going to make me do something I don't want to do.
Right.
So but I remember, you know, coming into the game like, oh yeah, I need this number. Once I got this number, I'm gonna be set. And then, you know, you keep raising that number, but your happiness doesn't grow, you know, alongside of it. So To me, that was the myth. That was the lie.
That is
That was the lie that they told me.
That's really good, Jude.
Go ahead,
a
Lindsay.
good
You
one.
can go ahead.
That's a good one, Jude. Because seriously, like I think your purpose makes you more happy. Like what you decide that you really want to do or what you like to do, and being able to make money doing what you like to do is such a better feeling than, you have people who they find jobs based on how much money they're going to make, and then they're just so unhappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then years down the line they decide to quit their job, right, to do something that they love that doesn't make them the same amount of money at the time, right? But they quit their job, like they have, when people say when you're 30 or you're 40, you go through this point in your life where you're just like, I just want to be happy, and you start saying, well, I'm quitting this job, I'm changing what I'm doing, I'm changing, and so the fact of money it's no one number that's gonna make you happy, right? And I think even with legacy, leaving money behind, or building a future for your loved ones, right? That gives you purpose, that gives you excitement, but it's not really this particular number, right? That you're like, I want to leave behind 5 million. I want to leave behind 10. It's not that. It's the fact that you're able to do something for your kids or your loved ones that maybe your parents didn't do for you, or, the joy in being able to do that, right? Speaking to clients and them telling me what their goals are, right? And I have to explain to them, listen, I don't want you to do something that's going to make you be in a bad space. I understand you want to leave a legacy. I understand that you want to leave something behind, but leave what you can afford to leave. Your family members are never going to be like, oh my God, she left 1 million, I hate her, right? Because she didn't leave 2. No, but seriously, it's like, because it's not really the number. It's the fact that you thought of when you're gone, that you're going to leave something behind that's going to make it easier for me. It's helping me, not necessarily you, right? So the fact that that's what you decided to do, you should feel good, right? And then at the same time, your family members, they feel great about, you become the legacy in the family. Like, my mom, my dad left XYZ behind to me, whatever it is, something small, right? So I think with money, what I've learned, especially around 2006, Jude, as well, I lost a lot of money. And I took a turn for what I was doing to doing something else. And I thought it was the end of the world as well. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to go from this to that, right? And I think that, you find a way, and then you can actually get on a track of things that you want to do and you like to do. And I think that the money comes, right? Like if you consistently just do what you like to do, the money will follow you, right? The opportunities will come to you, but you just keep pushing out what it is that you want to do, and what makes you happy. Because I'm all about being happy. You know that, Shaquanna, right?
Me too, girl.
If it's not happy, I don't want to be a part of it.
That's what I love about you guys, is that you guys have a certain level of success, but you're living your lives joyfully. You're not doing things that you hate, and the money doesn't consume you. So Shaquanna, I'm sure you want to chime in on this conversation.
Absolutely. So the first thing, of course, I'm going to just agree with the happiness. Money does not make you happy. If that was the case, like I had a number, I've hit that number, surpassed that number. The amount of money that I've made, I didn't even think that I would make when I started my firm. I really genuinely quit my job. And now that I look back at it, I probably quit prematurely, but I literally quit my job because I was so passionate about teaching people financial literacy. And so when I did it, things really worked out. And I feel like, your purpose is your purpose. So I do believe that when you do follow your purpose, and everyone has to find out what their purpose is, that things will start coming together for you and working out. So I do believe that. Now, for me, outside of the happiness thing, I think that one of the biggest things is the statement of more money, more problems. I'm going to be very honest with you. If a problem comes to me and money can fix it, it is not a problem. Money paid for it, you know? And so I feel that, and I hear people, and the reason why I wanted to say this is because I have encountered so many people that say, and again, I do feel like this is a cultural thing that we have to get away from, where people will say, oh, I don't want a lot of money because I don't want to deal with them problems. And I hear people say that all the time, but you're dealing with problems. Everybody's going to deal with problems.
Right.
I would prefer to deal with problems that my money can, if I have a bill, there's a fine, there's, something coming up, there's an emergency that I'm able to take care of it. I don't feel now that I have more money that I have more problems. I have more exposure. My business is growing. And yes, I have to deal with more, but I would prefer to deal with it and have the funds and have the capacity to deal with it versus putting myself in a box to say, oh, I don't want to make more money because I don't want those problems. We're all going to deal with problems, right? So that's one thing. I was writing them down because I didn't want to.
Good.
Another thing is that I don't know what I was saying there. Okay.
Happens to be all the time.
Another thing is that I feel that there's always a push. Like I feel like when you go through, you get to this place where, when you want a certain amount of money, you're like, okay, when I get to this number, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be living this way. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. No. If your goal is $1 million, once you hit that $1 million, you are scared. You are like, whoa, wait, hold up. I made this number. I don't want to lose it, right? And so what I've learned, especially in my industry, that I want to give to all of the attendees is that when you are, let's say you're building a business or you're an investor. So I'll first use the scenario of a business owner. If you are a business owner, right, you have to look at your funds as the money that you bring in. Of course, less all of your expenses, then you have your profit. You then have to think about the money that you have to pay Uncle Sam, right? Call him your silent partner. That's how I like to describe it. The silent partner in your business, you have to pay your taxes. Now, in order to reduce your taxes, so that way you're able to keep more of that money, you have to invest. You have to invest. And it really is like, so many people will say to me like, oh my God, like, I have a business. There's going to be but so many expenses you're going to be able to accumulate, right? And how much money you're really going to be able to keep putting out that has no real return before, you end up in a situation. And so I do think that this mindset of thinking that once you get to this number that you're going to be okay. No, like I hit a number. I'm like, Lindsay, oh my God, I need life insurance, right? Oh my God, but how does it have cash value? And what can I do with it? And and you begin to get to a point where you're like, wait, hold on. There's things that I need to do to make sure that I'm able to secure where I am. And yeah, it's not a place where you're like, okay, I'm going to get to this number. There's always something new. And I also feel like people feel like when they get to this number, they're going to be at peace and everything is going to be, figured out. But a lot of times you start uncovering a lot of things about yourself. You start uncovering a lot of things and, that you're like, a lot of fear, a lot of responsibility, because a lot of us are placing a lot of responsibility on ourselves. So I feel like go through it. Don't tell anybody you got money. Figure it out, put everything in place, before you start paying this one's bills and paying that one's bills and taking on this one's burden and that one's burden. You have to make sure that all your ducks are in a row. So those would be my things.
Thank you. No, those were really good points. And something that you guys all touched on is that, it's not so much, there's a dollar amount that's going to be life-changing. And why I think that's such an important conversation to have is because most of us live our lives trying to achieve a certain dollar amount, right? We're trying to hit that number. And I think that's why a lot of people end up experiencing depression, or they're not happy, or they can't, they have these life changes, which life changes are good, but I just want people to know, and in terms of passing this on to people who are coming around us, our circles, who might have this misconception that it's the dollar amount, that there's more to life. Focus on your happiness. And then of course we want to have financial success, but focus on all these things as you're building simultaneously. Right? Go ahead, Jude.
Can I make a statement out for the brothers out there?
Yeah.
As Black men, in the inner cities and stuff like that, listening to hip hop and stuff like that, we're taught about money, blank, and clothes, right? And that's all a blank knows, right? And we spend so much of our time in our 20s and our 30s chasing money, blank, and clothes, because that's what's seeping into our heads through the music and the culture and the video and the clothes and the cars, and this, that, the other. And then you wake up one day, and after you got all the money, you got all the blank, you got all the clothes, and you're sitting there, and you're looking at your closet, at all these sneakers that you never wear. You got the 2 cars in the driveway that you probably never drive. You don't enjoy driving, and there's that feeling of unfulfillment, of dissatisfaction, And people say money, more problems. Well, I'm into the remix. I say more money, more options. Because it just gives you more choice. It gives you more choices and stuff like that. But you can't live for it, because all it is an option. All money gives you is an option. It says, hey, I don't have to get up today, or hey, I could resolve this issue, or hey, I could make this loved one's life a little easier. But it's just like, it's a tool. It's the hammer. It's not the house. You use the hammer to build the house. You know what I'm saying? You can't love the hammer. You gotta love the house. And your life, your life is the house. And the hammer is the money. So you know what I'm saying? It's just something that you use to build, but you can't put the money before the life.
That's really good. Thank you so much.
That's a gem right there.
That is a major gem.
More money, more options.
Yes.
You need a t-shirt.
I love that.
So the quote that I wanted to share, so it's someone was being told, his name is Neville Goddard, he's an author, and someone told him that he should want to be a millionaire. He didn't know, at the time, he wasn't going after that. And he's like, well, why should I want to be a millionaire? It's not because of the money. Person told him it's not because of the money, but what it would make of you to achieve it, right? What does it make of you to achieve that goal? So I wanted to know from you guys, what has fundamentally changed for you as a person as a result of reaching those financial goals that you set? Do you want to go first, Lindsay?
Okay. I really just think it's made me a self-motivator. It's made me not quit when things are hard. I think that, like, on the road, it's just been so many things that you thought it was going to look a certain way on your way up, right? But really realize that it's not what you thought it was going to be, but I enjoyed the process. And I think, you're constantly having another goal of what you're trying to reach. And I think that through the journey, it's not easy, right? But it makes you stronger, it makes you more resilient. And I think that you just learn a lot. Like, you meet so many people and you just keep learning. And every time you get to another point where you think, oh, I reached this, right? It's so many people around you that's just kind of telling you, you could do more. You could do more. There's more to learn. There's more, so it's like you're constantly like, oh my God, I got to step it up. What's going on? But the good thing is, I think that your circle, and I've been lucky that my circle has grown with me, right? Like they, and that everybody doesn't have that. Some people say that they had a circle and they're like, I got to get away from these people. Right. I need to get to a circle that has, like-minded thoughts, So I think going to Howard was probably like my first step of really starting to meet people that had the same mind frame as me. And then after that, I think as I, was in the business and, you know, just kept moving up, I think that I met people along the way that was pushing me. And I've gotten better because I think when I was younger, my younger self was like, I just don't care. You know, like I just didn't care enough. And I started to realize that there's strategy involved in moving up. I started realizing, you know, the connections you made, like Jude said, people that I was friends with when I was an intern at Vibe are presidents of labels now, right? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, they have their own clothing lines, or they're big, you know, they're whatever. So you were around these people and they were pouring into you from young, and as they grew, they continued to pour into you and really made you say, I gotta keep pushing. I gotta put my foot on the motor. Like I gotta go, right? So I just think that it's made me a person that doesn't quit, even when it's hard. Having that circle to tell you keep going. I think that that's really what I probably got out of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Shaquanna, you want to go next?
I do. Can you tell me the question one more time?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay.
So the quote that I gave was, to sum it up, was, you know, that gaining the level of money, whatever that number is that you wanted to achieve, right? It's not about the money, it's about how it's what it will make of you to achieve it. So how has building wealth changed you fundamentally as a person?
Okay, so for me, I feel like through building wealth, this is a journey. It is a journey, especially when you are the one like planting all the seeds, you know, birthing your business, you know, whatever it is definitely a journey. And what I've learned throughout this journey is to trust the process. So I trust the process and I'm very quick to pivot. And I feel that throughout this time, like people are so married to the idea that they had in their head, right? Whatever that is, how you wanted your business to look, you know, what you want it to look like, you know, who your customer is, how you're going to communicate with them, right? All of those things, whatever it is in your business, what you're going to sell, right? You may have one thing that you want to sell, your customers will be saying, no, this is what I want, right? And so I think for me along the process, I have just been very good at learning how to pivot very quickly. Another thing for me, I'm very big on relationships. And so for me, I wouldn't necessarily say it changed me, but I don't want to, like, just like Lindsay, I have a great group of friends that I have had for forever. Some of my friends are from elementary school, some of them are from high school, some of them are from college. And then some of you I just met, you know, a few years ago. But for me, it's important for me to show up for people. So that's why people are always like, oh, you're always out, or you're always doing something. But it's important for me not to get consumed with success to a point where I go ghost from everyone. And that's a lot of times what people do. And I get it. You do have to be hyper-focused. I'm a very hyper-focused person. So if I want to do something, I do it. However, if it's my friend's birthday, if it's a family member's wedding, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not coming because I need to stay here and check emails. I'm not doing it. I have made it a priority to make sure that once I do achieve a level of success, that I'm not looking right and looking left and no one's there. And that's how it happens. A lot of times entrepreneurs and investors, especially when you are on this path where, you know, others aren't, you feel like, oh, I need to isolate myself. I need to just do it all by myself. And, oh, you guys aren't doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to like, just ignore you. And then what happens is after you achieve all this success, you don't have anybody near you because you were just focused on your work. So for me, family and friends has always been important, but they always say, you know, when you get money, it heightens whoever you are. For me, I'm like holding on to like all my friends, all my family. I'm like, I know I'm busy. I'm tired. I get it. You know, and I don't make everything, but I'll, you know, still communicate and I still try to be as present as possible. And so I think for me, those would be like the three things that I have learned.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jude.
It's funny because I kind of agree with what Shaquanna said in regards to like money heightening who you are. So when I reached when I reached success the very first time, I was very young and immature. So I want all the cars and I want all the bottles and I want all the bottle girls and all of that, right? So because that's where I was at the time. That's where I was at the time, and that was the priority and stuff like that. And I, which is why I'm sure Lindsay will tell you to always put and you probably say the same, to always put a clause whenever in your will or in your trust to make sure that the people that you're leaving this wealth for, that they give them a certain age to achieve some sort of maturity.
Yes.
Because like very immature, if they get it too early before they wise up, it's gone. Which is what transpired with me. But luckily I was given 3 chances, and this third time it seems like I've gotten it right, where I understand what's important to me. Like one of my things is I like spinach dip from Houston's.
Oh, that's my favorite, Jude. Let's go one day. My favorite. We're going on a date. Yeah. We're going on a business meeting.
Exactly. And spinach dip from Houston's is $22. So whether I make $500,000 this year, $1 million, or $3 million this year, it still does not change like my ability to have what fundamentally makes me happy. Because whether I make $500,000 this year, I could still have a Houston's twice a week if I wanted to.
Right. So
it changes your perspective. So like right now, the wealth that I have, it gives me the opportunity to impact more lives. Shout out to the Brooklyn Bank. It gives me the opportunity to buy a building solely for the purpose of the community and financial literacy and giving back. Shout out to Miss Business, who came out and was slinging turkeys with me. And you slang turkeys with me last year too.
Yes.
Lindsay?
So I'm ready. I need somebody to send me the invite to sling the turkeys. I'm bringing my daughter too, because she needs to do something with herself.
Yeah.
Jude, I'm going to pause you just because I want my last question to be, how are you guys, all of this wealth of information that you guys just shared with us, how are you using that to impact your legacy? So you sort of started, so I'm going to let you continue in that direction, Jude.
Yeah. So in regard to, like, whenever people think legacy, they just think about like a will or leaving some money behind. But hopefully, like with some of the work that I'm doing with the Brooklyn Bank, some of the information that I'm sharing on internet now, some of the people that I help get into their first home or help start their business, they'll make an impact on the generations before. And even though my name may get watered down and forgotten, but it feels good knowing that I am planting the seed in the community, in my network, and the people that I know. And although I don't have my name on a building yet, I still have my mark that I was here, and somebody who looks like me benefited from my time here on this earth. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Lindsay, you want to go next?
You can let Shaquanna go.
Okay, go ahead.
So for me, again, as I mentioned, I started my business with people in mind. And one thing that a lot of people, we didn't really touch on, but I feel like a lot of people grow egos as they become more successful, where they forget kind of like whatever their purpose was or why they started. So for me, I just always want to be remembered as like the person who helped. And so everything that I do, whether it's like my accounting firm in terms of my processes, like when I tell you I could cut a lot of the process out, but I literally put in my process where no, we have to hold their hand. We have to do this. And it's like
I
realistically,
need my handheld.
realistically, as an accounting firm, I don't necessarily need to do some of the things that I do,
Mm.
but I do it because I feel like my contribution to society is just helping people really understand taxes and really understand business, especially as we, on this whole plight to like of having, having our own businesses and investing. But a lot of people, a lot of people are trying to create these things off of headlines on Instagram versus really understanding what it really takes, right? So for me, everything that I do is like with people involved. So like for my firm, to the course that I created, the business blueprint, it really was to just dissect every part of business, because I'm seeing businesses, as I mentioned, I have 2,500 clients. So I'm seeing and hearing everything. And I'm the accountant, so they do not hold back. I get all the information. And I really just realized the pattern where it's like, the idea is great of having a business, but you need those principles. You need to really understand, what it is that you need to do. And so for me, that's what I just want to be known as. And I have so many ideas just for the future. And it's always going to start and end with the people. And that's what I want to be known for. So that's everything that I do has to integrate that.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Lindsay.
I really think that my legacy that I'm trying to leave, I have a teenager, and really I'm just trying to teach her the things that, that I know, and let her be great in her own space, but still just, learn about, finance, learn about just real estate, learn about, how important it is to build relationships and be good to your friends and your family. That's important for me. I also think part of my legacy is also leaving traditions, right? So you want to kind of, when you don't want to just leave the money and the properties and all of this stuff behind. You kind of want to teach them what to do with it, right? Or what your options are with it. So part of me has really been, helping my daughter figure out how to invest in the market, right? Teaching her on her platform, and, having her come with me when I'm going to purchase properties, or, I'm renovating properties, or whatever it is that I'm doing. Same thing with just even the insurance, and teaching her about money, and making sure that she understands you're not getting all your money in one shot. Like Jude said, it's coming in parts, because I can't try. I don't know what you're going to do at 18 if I die early, right? So I think my legacy, and same thing also with Shaquanna, being in this business and realizing that when I'm talking to clients about insurance, I add so much extra value. I ask them, do they have the will? I ask them, do they have estate planning? Are they into real estate? What kind of things are you doing to invest? What is it that you like to do? Even if you work a 9 to 5, is there anything else that you have a passion for that you might want to start? I try to really speak growth into people, right? And tell them that it's okay. Because I think a lot of people are also embarrassed about their finances, because I get the same thing all the time. They're like, oh my goodness, Lindsay, I wish I knew what you knew at this age. And I'm like, it's always a great time to start. If you're 40, it's a great time to start. If you're 50, it's a great time to start. It's just the fact that you get started, and I think being able to speak to so many people throughout the year from being in this type of business, and, having a lot of clients, I feel like when they get off the phone with me, I want them to feel like, oh my God, like she has taught me so much. There's so many things I need to do. I need to get started. And I help them. I connect them with people like you, like Shaquanna, like Sabine, right? I'm always sending people to you, like, listen, because I'm asking these questions. Instead of being the insurance agent that just talks about insurance and doesn't really ask them about, well, what's your goals? What are you trying to do? So really just leaving an impact on people and helping their families. Forget the impact I'm leaving. They're really helping, I'm really helping their families. And I have that feedback when they come back and say, oh, I'm so happy that you helped me with this because this happened. So I think it's important, all of us are, you're basically active in the community by helping through your business. right? And so I think it's important that we're giving them the right information and leading them the right way, because the internet allows anybody to speak to people about anything, whether they know it or not. And so I think that affects people when they have the wrong information, so just being honest and transparent about information that, that you're giving to them.
Wow, thank you guys. Yeah, that's so, this is the reason why we're having this conversation, just to highlight that legacy is much more than just the finances. So it's definitely important. We want to have our insurance in place. We want our taxes in place. We want to, build wealth through real estate and all other types of investments. We want to protect it, with putting your plan in place with your will and your trust and other strategies that might be personal to you. However, we also want to remember that there's a bigger reason why we're here. So that's the information, the experiences that you have, the circle that you create, all these things tie into your legacy. So don't just pass on the financial piece, but make sure that we're imparting into those who are around us, our circle, our children. Make sure you leave those things that you have in here that you've experienced. That is so much more valuable, because what do they say? If you teach a man to fish, right, he can eat every day versus just giving him a fish, right? So guys, thank you so much. So there were some questions. One of the questions I think was from Sherry, but it seems a little technical in terms of insurance. Do you want me to read it, or should I connect you guys?
I mean, that's up to you.
All right.
I can answer it, or
I'll read it. So from Sherry, how do you handle an agency not getting paid? All right, sorry. So she's saying that she didn't get paid from her job for 8 months. So her policy lapsed, unfortunately. But the other part is the money still coming out of her paycheck every week. Is legal action needed, or is there something else she could do?
So is she saying that her policy is being paid or not? Is the money is coming out of her check for the policy?
Yeah, she said it's still coming out of her paycheck each week. So I'm not quite sure. That's what I said. Maybe if I connect you can take it.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be coming out of her paycheck if it's not being paid to the insurance company, unless her company that was taking the money stopped paying the insurance company, which means they now owe you money. Your your actual company.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'm going to connect you with Sherry. All right. So another question is, are there any books that you guys recommend for entrepreneurs or people who are trying to sort of grow and build?
I think 10 Times by Grant Cardone. I love that book. Well, 10X, sorry. 10X. 10X by Grant Cardone. I love that book. I think that it is definitely the perspective you need, especially when you're first starting out or you're starting your business. As I mentioned, I'm a person that I'm hyper focused. Like if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go hard. I'm going to 10 times whatever it is that I need to be doing. Like if somebody's doing something at level 3, I'm on level 30. I'm not playing, right? And so I love that book. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you.
My recommendation for a book would be The Alchemist.
I love that book.
Because although it's not necessarily a business book, but it's a mindset book, because at the end of the day, what he was looking for was right in front of him in the first place. So many times everybody wants 7 streams of income, and so they start a trucking company and they start a food truck and they this and that, and I'm just like, sometimes you can make all your money in one spot if you just think about it and if you just focus on it. Although I fall under the umbrella of a real estate umbrella, of a real estate entrepreneur, I try to squeeze every dime out of the real estate business as possible. I was, I had a position in a title company until they changed the laws a couple of years ago. You're supposed to, you just need to work on your mindset and really just take a good look at the world from different lenses and different experiences and grow and learn from them. So that's my book, The Alchemist.
Awesome. All right, Lindsay, nothing?
Principles.
Okay.
is one of the books that I really enjoy, and really just because I feel like it's like a Bible.
Yeah. Is
You
that
know, like
Is that Ray Dalio book?
Ray Diallo.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just feel like it really teaches you about, you know, the principles of life, you know, and obviously that goes hand in hand with business, with work, you know. But that's been a book that I've went back and read over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one, especially for business. So I'll ask one more question, but as we wrap this up, if somebody had from the Q&A, if somebody had either bad money habits or bad relationship with money, where can they start from today?
I'll go. So I think that if you have bad, I guess, money habits, what I did when I was in corporate, because I had bad money habits, because as Lindsay said, like, I like to be happy. And so the problem is when you live your life and you want to be happy, anything you want, you feel like you deserve. And so, what I did when I was in corporate is I literally took my paycheck, I broke it down. So what I did was I broke down all my bills based on my pay cycle. So I got paid twice a month. So I detailed out all of my bills. So like I broke my rent up into two, like, okay, I wasn't gonna pay it all out of one paycheck. So I split it out, half the first paycheck, half the second paycheck. All of my bills, when my credit card bills were due, my phone bill was due, all of, you know, all my bills. I pretty much broke it out. And what I did, and I also said, okay, well, this is how much money I want to pay myself, right? So I've always been in that mindset. Like, I am not going to work to then say, I'm going to just give all my money away, right? I have to figure it out. If I need to stop doing something else so that way I can have this, or I need to cut my phone bill down, I was very intentional about it. So what I did was I had this amount that I wanted to pay myself. I knew like how much, you know, on average, how much my credit card bills were, utilities, all of those things. And what I did every single time I got paid was I paid all the bills the first day I got paid. And so that way my responsibilities were taken care of. I was taken care of because I had my number on what I wanted to pay myself. And it really stuck with me. Like now, to this day, I pay all my bills on the first. Like every single bill I have, I don't care if the bill is due on the 23rd of that month. I pay it on the first. And I do that because I want to just pay all my bills and then, you know, say, all right, this is what I have to, you know, kind of play with. But it did give me really good money management skills and let me know exactly how much money I had to play with. Because yeah, when you live your life happy like me, I'm like, oh, I want to go out to eat. I want to go on vacation. Oh, I want a bag. I want some shoes.
12 bags.
I want some spinach
everything.
Spinach
Yes, finish it. Oh my God, I'm always in Houston.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. That's a great tip. And that's one of the things that I learned early on, except for the pay yourself first part. I didn't learn that till later, but that is a very sound advice. Thank you. Anybody else want to?
So for me, what I normally do is I actually have different bank accounts for different things, just to make sure that, you know, I'm doing things the right way, because of course I also have the happy life of going to the store. So just to control myself, right? Because you have to know your weaknesses and you have to control yourself, right? So for me, what I do is I actually have an account that's just for my bills. Everything is automatic. Most stuff I pay annually. You know, if it's an option to pay annually, I pay annually. If I can't pay annually, like my mortgage and stuff, right? So, but with that stuff, everything is automatic. So what I do is I pay the account ahead of time. Right. So if the bills are due for next month, I probably have the bills sitting there for 2 or 3 months. So I really don't have to think about it. But I still, you know, because it's not like I get paid, you know, 1 to 2, 3 times a month. So it's just like, you know, whenever you just dump additional money into the account. So everything is always taken care of. And then I like points. So I really use my Amex for everything.
Me too. I live
everything. I wish we could pay our mortgage with the Amex.
It's
but
coming. It's coming.
Wow.
Thank you. I hope, because everything is paid with the Amex besides the car note and that, right? And so I like to collect points. So I have the different American Expresses for that. And then I also, every time I get a check, right, or money gets deposited into my account, I pay, like I have one of those side off online accounts, right? That money goes into every time, I automatically would take 15 to 20% or whatever I got, I send it over there. So I don't even act as if that's money that I have. Right. And I don't look at that account, just to try to save myself from thinking of things I want to do. And then also I pay my investment accounts, right? So all of them are on automatic. So, a lot of times people are in debt and they're fear of, they're like, well, I want to pay my debt off before I invest. Right. I don't suggest that, because you may be in debt forever. Good debt, bad debt, whatever type of debt you have, you may stay in debt. Right. So you need to still want to try to build something at the same time that you may be in debt. So, take whatever percent that you can, and, you can set it on automatic to go to your investment accounts, or if there's something that you want to do, like I have an account for things that I want to do, like where I put money in there as well. And so then if there's an opportunity comes up, I can check in that account and say, well, I got some money for my opportunity, right? Just to kind of control the money flow, because I feel like every dollar should have a place, so, you have your dollar for your bills. That's one account. You have your account that you may use for you saving for things in particular. It could be vacation, it could be whatever. And I'm a random vacation person. I don't like necessarily plan vacations, right? So because of that, I still have to be mindful of what I'm spending when I go away. When you go away with people like Shaquanna, you go out to eat 17 times in 3 days.
Wow, you just put that on me. Okay.
I did put that on you.
Okay.
But just, you have to know your habits and have everything in order. Be intentional, pay down your debt. That's your bad debt. I know Jude probably gonna tell you about some of the good debt that you can have, right?
Okay.
But, pay down on your bad debt. And, I'll let you take this.
Thanks, God. Take it. That was great information, Lindsay. I'm going to implement some of those strategies, because I thought that was very sound in sort of managing yourself and your personality, because you don't have to have limitations if you set it up right. All right, go ahead, Jude.
The first method I used to use is the either or method, right? This is like when you question every expense of and kind of do an analysis of the opportunity cost, so it's just whether it's do I really want this bag, or do I really want this house that I'm going to buy that I can use for a deposit? Do I really want this French fry, or do I want the abs for the summer? So it's
Dude,
like,
that's gonna be hard.
Jude, it's like you always want to pick like the thing that's gonna like torture us.
No.
I'm telling you.
Well, not the house. The house is good, but
it's
come
like
on.
it's like is
Sometimes I want the French fries.
is it what I want or what I want right now? Because sometimes you got to learn to differentiate between what you really want and what you will settle for right now. And we only have one life to live, so we shouldn't settle. And what I've been doing as of late is whatever it is that I want, I figure out how to pay for it. If I want a new car, let me go buy a building to buy this car. If I want whatever I want. All right, let me put X amount of money in crypto or the stock market, and when it bubbles up to this, I'll take that to buy.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So it's never a situation where I'm taking good money to put into nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
We need more wisdom from you, Jude.
Yeah, Jude. But you know what's so crazy is I'm now getting to a point, and as you talk about, I talked about phases. Like at first, you have a business, you're making money, the money comes in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna spend it. But now I'm getting to a phase where I'm like, okay, how can I do that? Because that's also a skill. Like everyone makes it seem like you could just do that, but you really have to have a skill to do that. Like I need to have some insight from you from real estate so that I know I'm making a good decision.
it's always like, like, because the money is your employees, and you got to put them to work, constantly, 24/7. So I don't care if it's appreciation, I don't care if it's like mortgage deduction, I don't care if it's rental income. Like I just like I'm not paying $600 for a pair of sneakers. That house has to pay for $600 for a pair of sneakers.
I love that.
I
Guys, this
love
was
that.
so valuable, so much gems, being shared. I'm so appreciate you guys, and I know everybody does as well. Just if you can, for 30 seconds, tell us how to find you, if anyone wants to connect with you, and then we'll also, of course, share your information. Just let us know.
Who goes
Jude,
first?
Jude was talking, so we'll just let him finish, and then.
Okay.
My name is Jude Bernard. I could be found on the gram at Mr. Jude Bernard. I could be found at the Brooklyn Bank. You can hit me on email or DMs at Jude at the Brooklyn Bank. I have a huge event that I'm doing at the King's Theater.
Yes.
And on Juneteenth, financial freedom, emancipation, all that, emancipation of mind. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Shaquanna, you could go next.
Yes. So you all can find me across social platforms as Miss Business 101. You feel free to send me an email at ask@missbusiness101. Shoot me a DM, myself, my assistant. We're going to get back to you because it gets a little crazy in the DM. So I had to hire somebody to help me with my DM because I want to make sure, again, people first. I want to make sure everybody's getting answered. So yeah, that's where you guys can find me. I'm located in New York. I work with clients all throughout the US. I just released a course, the Business Blueprint, which is kind of like literally the blueprint for entrepreneurs. And I also am going to be releasing in the next week my membership group that was exclusive for my course members, but now I'm going to open it up for everyone. Again, goal entrepreneurs. I want to create a space where we can all build and learn from one another. So that's where you all can find me. Pretty reachable.
She is. Lindsay.
So you can find me, my name on Instagram and all the platforms is Lindsay Smith, the agent. And my name is spelled with the A, as you can see here. And you can also email me at Lindsay at lindsay@lindsay-smith-the-agent.com. You can go to my website, which is the same thing, at www.lindsay-smith-the-agent.com. And on there, you will be able to see all of my resources as far as schedule an appointment with me for any life insurance, long-term care, disability, anything like that. Also, if you are an agent and you are looking for a mentor, I have a mentorship program and you can sign up there. And I have an agent course as well for people thinking about being an agent and getting into this business and understanding what the business is about. So also on my IG, in my bio, everything is there, every link for you to do.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you guys. You know, you're number one in my heart after, You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
It was a pleasure being on the panel with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys in the audience, send up your cheers to my lovely friends here.